Okay, we're back. So we are going to discuss how we can generate a token, right? And that's called signing, right? And how do we validate the token? Okay, so basically, to start the process, we need to have a secret. So let's say we create a constant here. We call it JWT secret, just some kind of secret, secret key for JWT, something like that. Basically, of course, you're going to have a stronger secret, but just that's a secret so that we could use it, okay? Now, if we look at the documentation, they show you that there are two main functions. There is sign, and then there is verify. So if you scroll down a little bit, there is sign, and then there is verify. So let's see how we can do this. And of course, sign and verify have two algorithms. One of them is synchronous, and the other one is asynchronous. You see here, there's a synchronous version if you provide a callback, and an asynchronous if you provide a callback, and synchronous if you don't specify a callback and you just specify, it will return back the token, okay? Now, if you scroll a little bit here, we did the require and we just do the sign. So let's see. So basically what I'm trying to do is when the user authenticates, right? So we generated the token for them, right? So basically here. And what I'm going to do is I generated the token for them. So how to generate the token? It's very straightforward. I just will use JWT, right? So I'll say JWT, and so for example, I'll say let token, right, equals JWT dot, and then I will use the sign function, sign, and basically here you put the data that you would like to sign and put the secret. So JWT secret, and that should generate the. So basically, let's say usually what you're going to include is maybe the user ID, maybe the user role, a small amount of data, because you don't want that token to be so big, right? So the more data you put, the more the size of your purple side will grow, right? So keep that in mind. So basically, let's say I'm going to put the user ID. You know, after you log in, maybe you have the user ID. Let's say this is the user ID, and maybe the name of the user. Name of the user is, say, Bob Smith, right? So that's the token that I generated, right? Now I could send the token many ways. So sometimes you can send it in the header, and we'll look at how to put it in the header. Or like, for example, I can put it as part of the response. I could come here and say the response is, I could have the token. So I can put the token as part of the response. Okay, so now let's have a look and see how we, I'll call the auth function. So basically I need to run node daemon index. Here it is. And then I will go here and I'm going to call the auth function, right? So basically auth, and that's a post, right? So basically maybe I can use postman. So here's postman, and I will call the auth function. So here is the API auth, right? So here we are, and it's a post. So here is the post request. And usually if we're going to do it this way, most probably the user is going to provide some username and password or something, right? So basically in the body, we're going to send, for example, maybe username, and then some password, right? Here, and we send them, and we're getting back a token. See here, this is the token we're getting back. That token has three parts. So I can copy the token, and let's have a look at it. So we go back here, you go back to JWT tokens, and you can paste the token that we received, and then you could see that the data that we are receiving is what? Is the user ID, the name, and then the issue date. See here, IAT is issued at. You know, this is the issued at. Usually these tokens have a time limit. You know, so basically if you scroll down a little bit here, what you want to do is you can generate the expiration date. So the expiration date of the token. So this token is a 1 hour long. So basically you can make it whatever. So basically you can make the token expire after. So this is 1 hour. See here, they're dividing it by 1,000. And now this is 1 hour. We can make it more and so on, right? So basically you can make it expire and so on, right? So what I could do is I could copy this right here, and I can change the expiration of the token. So basically I'll go here. I'll put the expiration of the token to be like this. Here it is. So basically now it's going to expire in an hour. So it's today. That's now, right? And then basically this is plus 60 times 60. It seems this. And then if I multiply by 2, this would give me 2 hours, right? Okay. So now I'll go back and I'll call the API again. So I'll go back here. I'll send. You see, I get back the API. I get back a token. Here it is. And then I can go back here and I can view what this token looks like. Here it is. And you see how here I have the expiration date, and it tells me that it's going to expire at 19, right? 1936, while now is 1736. So it's 2 hours. All right, perfect. So you could see that I could generate a token. That's how I generate a token, and that's how I could send it back. Okay. So now, what about the case where now the user is going to call these protected routes? So basically, there is a protected route that the user is going to call. Now I want to receive that token. So basically, how does the user usually send back the token? And usually what happens is that you send back the token in the header. So what happens is, if we go back here, we create another request. I'll copy this from here to here. And it's a GET request, right? The protected one is a GET request. Here it is, right? And basically what we are going to do is I am going to call this API. I can call it now. It will work. Nothing is there, right? So I need to retrieve the token. So basically, usually you have a header, right? And in the header, it can be called different things based on different applications. For example, I'll call it X JWT dash token, right? I can pass the token here. So basically, I could pass the token. So that's the token that I'm going to send. Here it is, right? Control C, and I'm going to do a Control V here. All right, so that's my token. I can send it, and I'm still not validating anything. So now to validate a token, if you look at the documentation that they have here, here it is, how to verify a token. If you scroll down a little bit, here it is. You put the token that you received, secret or public key, or the secret key that you have, and then basically either callback or no callback. So what I'm going to do is, here it is. So basically I'm going to do something like that. Now you have to keep in mind now, if it's synchronous or asynchronous. I'm just using synchronous calls now. If the callback is not supplied, the function acts synchronously. Very nice. It returns the payload decoded if the signature is valid, because what is going to happen is it's going to validate the signature. And otherwise, if it's not valid, it will throw an error. All right. So now this means that we have to have a try-catch block, right? So perfect. So now what we're going to do is this. I want to retrieve the token. The token is sitting where? The token is going to be sitting in the header. Now, if we go back to this, I'm putting it in this header. I'm going to copy this from here to here. That's the name of the header variable. We go here. I'm going to get that token. So basically, how do I do that? I'll say let token, right? Let token equals, it's in the request dot header, and here is the key value, right? That's going to be that, right? Now, what we could do is we could say if token, because maybe there is no token, right? Else I'm going to do something else, right? So what I could do is I could say res.send, I could say status, right? And then the status codes, if you look at them, I want to say that you are not unauthorized. I'll just do 401, for example. I could say 401, and I could say maybe send something. So basically I could send something like this, error invalid token. Something like that, right? So basically that's the case when there is no token at all sent, right? Token required, invalid token provided, right? Or something like that. Something like this. Now, when there is a token, now I can validate. So I say JWT dot, and then there is the method that we are going to use is called, if you remember, it's called verify. Okay, verify the token. So basically the first parameter is the token, and then the secret key. JWT secret, that's the secret, and here we are. So now you have to be careful because this has to be surrounded by a try catch. Here's a catch, and basically error, right? Here it is, and this runs inside the try catch, right? So basically, if everything is good, right, this means that this is going to be a successful request, right? So basically, I go here. I could say, for example, I could respond back by some data, for example, whatever you're trying to get. For example, I could say status is successful, for example, or okay, or whatever you want, and then maybe the data here is whatever data you want to send, maybe the user information. Maybe I could say ID is maybe 1000, and then name is say Bob Smith. Whatever data is going to be variable. So basically, I received the token, and maybe I'll send the token back so that you could see what this token looks like. So token and token, just to give you an idea of what this token is going to look like. So I'm going to send back the token, I'm going to send back the data, token, and so on, right? That's if everything is fine. If it's wrong, then I will just copy this and send that as here. So basically, I'm going to send back 401 and say invalid token provided, or maybe token is required here. Token is required, right? Here it is. All right, so we have that protected route now, and you can see we retrieve the token from the header, check to see if the token is there or no. If it's there, then we go in and verify, and here is how we are verifying it. And basically we can try now. So basically if I go here and I click on send, perfect. So this is a good token. That's why everything went well. And you can see I'm getting the token. Now I'd like to extract data from the token. So basically I just return back the token so that you see it. Of course, it's just whatever we retrieve from the header. But you can decode the token. So basically if you scroll down a little bit here, there is a token that you could decode. So basically verify, synchronous. So basically this is what you get back from the decoded token. So you could say let decoded, this is the decoded token. So basically here it is, and I could say decoded, right? And decoded. So basically I'm just show you the decoded token, right? So which will have the data that is actually sitting inside the token. So I send, you can see here, the decoded information after validation is this. It tells you the name, the expiration date, the UID, and the IAT. So basically what is happening right now is that you could see that this token, the validation, validates two things. It validates that the signature is correct and the token did not expire. So let's say I create a token that, let's say it's going to expire, if this is in 60 seconds, let's say I'll make it expire in 1 minute. Okay, so that's going to expire in 1 minute. So if I do that and I run it, send, yes, and if you look at that token, I go here and we go to the JSON Web Token, here it is. It will show you that it was created October 13th at 1744, and if you scroll down here, it expires at 1744, and it was created at 1743. All right, perfect. So now I could go here and maybe use that token. So I'll copy this, and then I'm going to paste it in the header, Control V, and I'm going to send. See, it's valid, life is good. Once it hits 44, things are not going to work. So let's say I don't send the token. I click and enter. It says the token is required, because this is the case where you don't have the header. So you see, if it's there, we do this. Otherwise, we resend this. Now, if it's invalid could be many cases. Maybe one is that the time is expired, or maybe I could just edit, say somebody edited it like this, click send, it says an invalid token, right? But now I will paste the token again and send it, and says that it's an invalid token. Why now it's invalid token? It's because now it's not because I edited it. Now it's because the time has expired, right? See, I removed whatever I edited, or I'll just copy it back again here, from here, copy, and I'll paste it again. So basically you could see that I click on send, and it said invalid token provided. Now, if you read the documentation for that library, there is a way to figure out what happened. Did it expire or no? Because the actual error that you receive here, you can print it. So basically I could say the full error. So here it is. I could say full error. So I can send it back in the response. Now when I go back here, I click on send. You see, I'm getting the whole error. So now I could just know that, hey, JWT has expired, right? Or I could go here and maybe put some characters here and press send. It will tell you an invalid signature. So there is a message variable that you could use to figure out what happened. You see, the message is JWT has expired. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Plus also there is a message code, sometimes token expired error, or you could have invalid token. So for example, something like this, you click send, and then JSON Web Token error, and so on. So basically that's how you code your application. Now, if we want to implement this in a middleware, it's very easy, because all what we have to do, let's say let's copy this guy, which is the second middleware, right? Okay. Let's remove it from here. We don't need it in here. We just need it in the case where you are, not even when you are authenticating, right? So basically these middlewares are not gonna run here. They're gonna run when you wanna validate, right? So basically, which is the case here on the protected side. So basically, let's say we call this JWT validation, right? Middleware, right? So here we are. I'm just going to do this here, and then basically the middleware, we put it here and come. So basically that's what's gonna happen when you run the middleware. So basically what I could do is copy the code that we had for the validation, which is all of this code. I'll copy all of this code, right? Here it is, copy, and paste it here. So basically here, let me save it. Here I received the token, check the token, look at the decoded values, right? Now what I could do is I could send this decoded variable as part of the request. You know, I could send it as part of the request so that it could be used with whatever value is whoever needs the token, because you might need the token, right? So let's see how. So you see here you have the request. We did that here. We got the token. We did the decoding. I'm not going to send anything here. What we're going to do here is just call next, right? Because we said that if everything is well, we're going to send next. And let's comment out this stuff here, right? So here we are. And this is all stuff that we could still use, right? Basically, that if things are not working out, like for example, there are errors, I'm going to send this and I'm going to send the full error. And here we go. So now I'd like to, and then you do this. Okay, so now if we follow this process, right, then we don't need to put all of this code here. So basically all we have to do is this. Basically, if you arrive here, this means that everything is good. Okay, so looking at the code now, you see that in the middleware, we managed to get the decoded token, right? So what if I want to pass that decoded token so that it arrives here, so that I really don't need to go and repeat all of this code that we have here again, right? It already passes through the middleware. So if it comes to this request, if it comes into this other part of the other last middleware, which is actually the API, what's going to happen is that it has already been filtered. It has been validated. So basically, and I already have the token, which is decoded here. So one approach is to do it this way. It's the easiest way. You get the request, dot, and you call it, for example, token or decoded token. You can store it like this. And you could say, for example, this is the decoded token. Here it is. So basically, you are storing it as part of this request object, which is going to come back here, right? So basically, when you come back here, I can get the decoded token by just calling the request or getting it from the request decoded token, right? Here it is. And then basically what I could do is I could just play it. So I have the decoded token, so I could just return that. So I already have it. I don't need to do all of this validation, right? And maybe I can just show you the decoded token here, just for matter of just demonstrating this, right? So decoded, and here is my decoded token. Here it is, and here we are. All right. So you could see that, or I could just print it to the console.log, and here's the decoded token. So basically you could see here that through the middleware, I can protect and validate this. So basically I go here, let's log in. Here it is, login. Let's make it a little bit longer. I think what we did is we made it only for 1 minute. Let's make it for, let's say, 15 minutes. Here it is, save it. So now when you authenticate, here it is, send, and basically here I copy from here, and then I'm going to paste it here as part of the header. Click on send. Everything is good. I get the decoded. You see here the decoded. This is coming in from where? It's coming in from the protected library, right? The protected API. So here's the protected API. What it does is it's printing the decoded. See here, it's printing the decoded, and so on. Now, if anything is wrong with that token, let's say you add some X's at the end of it here, and you click on send. Now you see you are getting a 401, right? And you are getting errors. These errors are coming in from where? They're coming in from the middleware. See here, they're coming in from the middleware. The middleware comes in, it validates the token. If everything is good, what it does is it calls next. Basically, the middleware will call next. If there are any errors, it's going to send a 401, 401, and it's going to indicate what the error is, right? And that's basically what we're getting here, right? So another thing also, if you're playing around with these tokens, let's do this. So let's say I'll copy the token when you log in. I'll show you. Send. Problem is that I don't know the secret. So basically, me as a hacker, for example, who wants to hack this system and gain access, here is the token. Here I can get the token, for example. I have the token, right? Or I could understand how the token looks like. Maybe I have a header and a payload that I would like to. So basically, let's say if I change the let's say here it is, Control V. Here we are. Now I want to make the user ID 2000. So I can create a token that thinks that the user ID is 2000. The problem is that this is, I don't know the correct signature to specify. the only way to do that is to know the secret. So here it has some kind of secret, you know, like here is the secret, and then basically it generates the signature of this data based using that secret. And so basically, if I copy this and paste it, you know, as my token, right, when I'm accessing this protected site and click on send, and it says this is an invalid signature. Of course, because the user who created it does not know the secret. If they know the secret, so let's say here is the secret. If they know that secret, and here is the secret. See, if they know the secret, then they will be able to generate a valid token. See here, Control V, click send, it went through. The only way for them to generate a valid signature is that if they know the secret, okay? All right, so we have demonstrated how you could create protected routes, and basically we're gonna send data in the header. You just have to figure out what kind of header. Usually it's X JWT token or X token or something like that. So basically you just have to figure out what you're going to use and send it through the header, receive it, use it, validate it, and then use it. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.